She's passionate about telling stories of amazing women who are rocking the world and empowering women to live, love, and thrive. Here's your host, Catherine Gray.
Welcome everyone. So glad to have you here today. Good morning. It's a Wednesday and I must be like getting ready for my wedding. Yes, it's coming up and I am on overload. But welcome to 360 Karma, brought to you, of course, oh my gosh, are we really live? Welcome to Live, Love, Thrive, brought to you by 360 Karma. We hope you are following us on our Facebook and also, of course, on Twitter and Instagram at My360 Karma. As always, we have an incredible guest today. She's not only the president of the Speakers Association, but she's also an author. And she creates musicals and has won some Grammys. Please give a warm welcome to our guest today, Deborah Johnson.
Oh.
Hi, Deborah. How are you?
Oh, I am great.
Yeah,
It's great to be here.
We're coming up on our 100th episode, and that's the first time I ever had that kind of an opening. But it's true. I am getting married in 2.5 weeks, and I think I am on overload. But welcome, Deborah. And you were married 30 years ago, so maybe you remember. Yeah.
And I met my husband on a blind date, and because he played professional baseball, I only had 4.5 months before the season, so it was good. Planned it, did it, and it was great.
30 years
fun.
ago, you forget what went into that wedding, don't you?
It was a lot. It was a lot. But
I plan up a lot of events, so I don't think too much about it. And I said, oh, this is nothing, I can do that. Oh boy. Was I in for a surprise?
Yeah. Oh,
but excited. So anyway, I'm so happy to have you on today.
It's a pleasure.
You have done so many things, so we have a short time to cover everything. But I wanted to start with your background because I know a lot of people are always interested in becoming speakers, and especially women, over 40 that are wanting to do a restart. And I know you really focus on that genre of women to try to help them. And so do I. And I think it's a huge genre. I see on your website, it's like 45 million women. That's
amazing.
a sixth of our population here in the United States, right? So it is definitely an underserved market. So I appreciate that you're focused on helping women on their second half of their journey. But I want to talk about the first half of your journey. So, born in the South.
I was born in Eatonton, Georgia, which is the home of Brer Rabbit and Uncle Remus. And if you've been on Splash Mountain, you've seen them. They became more famous there. But yeah, that's it. Little tiny town, but moved to California. So I've been raised here. So
I was actually born in the South also, in Virginia.
Okay.
A lot of people in LA are like, Virginia, where's that? So I just tell them, oh, that's DC. And they're like, oh, DC, I know. But I was born right outside DC, so I kind of grew up with that Southern background, and I guess they were making fried chicken and
sweetened tea, grits, and I grew up.
They don't know what that is out here in LA
either. I know, but actually, my family used to. We always had it.
So you were telling me, you have this amazing musical background, which we'll talk about how that led you to speaking. But you were telling me your grandmother, who immigrated here from Italy, actually ended up playing at Carnegie Hall. So your musical genes come from her.
She played violin and mandolin in Carnegie Hall when she was 16. And she also graduated from the New York Conservatory of Music, which is really amazing for a woman at that time. But then she went into an arranged marriage, had a dozen kids, and never played again. And so I never really got to hear her really play, which is so sad to me.
Right, but you got her gene.
The gene, it's it's
That's
a blessing
priceless.
and a curse. But it's definitely there, the ear and the feel for it, because you can't teach all of that.
Right. No, I think it's a gift. You obviously have that gift. You've written and produced some musicals and won some Grammys. And
actually,
tell me about that.
I've been up for a number of Grammys. There's different stages of that process, so I'm very transparent with that. But I've been up for a number of Grammys. I'm very linked into that community, and I'm an active voter for. And every year, usually, I submit something. I've had a lot of different projects up for Grammys. So
you're lucky that your parents ended up moving out here to LA.
And
right? I mean,
yeah, I was
perfect
very
ground
young.
for a musician,
Well,
right?
yeah, I was very, very young.
Yeah.
So it wasn't like just, I mean, I kind of was born in Georgia, and then,
Grew up here.
Yes, totally grew
Yeah.
up here. And my mother was really behind my sisters and I going into music. And it was kind of a different stage of life because we didn't have a lot of the sports and everything that were going on. So I was able to focus on my music and practicing. It was very important to do that because you can have talent, but you can have underdeveloped talent as
Right,
well
right.
without working on it and developing the discipline. And so I was up early every single morning, but even before in high school and
Right.
on, very early and practicing for hours.
Eat, living, and breathing it.
Yeah.
Now, was this singing or instruments or both, or?
This was with most of that in-depth practicing was with classical piano. So I'm trained as a concert pianist, but I started out and continued performing vocal and piano together. So the piano is, I say it's like water. It's just like swimming for me, just so easy. And then the vocal, and I've been a double major, so and all of that, so I've done a lot of vocal work as well and training and taught as well in the university, actually. So I've learned a lot
Right.
through the years.
And written and produced musicals.
Yes,
Yeah.
and that's where the name of my new book of Women at Halftime, which we call 40 and Above, that's what I coined it. And it's principles for producing your successful second half, because I have produced musicals. I say bad habit, but they're wonderful. But it is so much work.
So much work.
It is the
little payoff.
Oh my gosh! It
Yeah.
is just a huge, monumental job, and
Yeah.
And I love to write, and after I wrote, I'm thinking, okay, so now what do I do with it? Oh my gosh, I got to launch it. I've got to launch world premieres.
Yeah.
And it was ended up being a wonderful experience. Very, very difficult, but I understand the production and how much work goes into production.
What I love most about interviewing you today is that there's so many people out there that are musicians and writing musicals and writing songs, and they're struggling. And if anybody relates to this, it's you. But
Right.
what I love what you've done is taken your talents and repurposed them to make a living and to be successful. And I think a lot of musicians are struggling, and you certainly, I know, identify with that. And I love that you help people to take that platform and then utilize it for other purposes. And that's really what you did with your speaking, right? You said,
Yeah, it's an expansion.
Yeah.
And I like to, you've got what your platform is. And coming from the musicians, I always call it the starving artist syndrome.
Yeah.
And it's from a gig economy. Your last gig is your last gig. And I mean, I still work for Disney. I probably shouldn't say that too loud, but it's I love working for that organization. But that's not a real steady job even, because I'm an independent contractor and I'm hired out on jobs, and I've
Right.
done
And what
shows
kind of things do you do
everywhere.
for Disney?
I do a lot of piano work or private events. I've done a lot of different private events, and I have some colleagues that I've worked with there, and it's just wonderful. But I've done a lot of headline shows all across the United States, really all everywhere, and work with another, a piano pal, as I call them. We do a dueling show, but yeah, there's a lot of different parts where your last gig, now you're looking forward to the next gig, and you're trying to get booked again, in all of that. And what the speaking has done, and the organization that I'm a part of, the National Speaking Association, has taught me more than almost any other organization about building a business. And when I decided to expand my business, because I still will use some music, and I love using music and media in my speaking, but I intersperse it, so it's not about just the music and media. It's all about the message. But I've learned through this organization how to build the business, and that's why I'm so passionate in even being in leadership with our LA chapter.
And so you actually coach people how to create a successful speaking business. And I think there's a lot of people out there that would like to be speaking.
Right.
They don't know how to monetize it. They probably have the gift but could hone it.
Right.
And so Your website, goalsforyourlife.com, I know encompasses a lot of different facets of what you're doing, and one of them is this coaching and learning how to speak and how to make it a profitable business.
Well, that's what our organization, National Speaking Association, we are GLAC, we're the Greater Los Angeles chapter of that. My personal business, what I work with women with halftime, and then with my Hero Mountain that I've trademarked. It's a whole program there.
Yes.
But I don't target usually speakers in my business. I target people that are, it can be in any business, in any area.
So
of
they could be in
reinvention.
insurance, they could be in technology.
Totally.
I see.
Yes, any business.
Or a musician.
Or a musician.
Yeah.
Exactly,
Yeah.
exactly. But when you get to that point of life, and I speak to men as well. I go out in different groups and I speak with HR, and because I've got it formatted for your CE credits and all of those sort of groups that are going through this professional and personal development in taking that step up, and we work on a lot of different things. Of course, it starts with your purpose,
Right.
but then with your mindsets. What about that head trash? I mean, how much head trash do we all had? Go,
Yeah, I have none.
It's,
It's in the recycle bin.
oh my gosh, there's just, we all deal with it. It doesn't matter what stage we're at,
Yeah.
but we, especially at halftime, you deal with that.
Yeah.
And a lot of the other areas I talk about core competency, your strengths, and how to build skills. And women right now they are very underrepresented in the technical field, and I understand how scary that can be.
Or even in the speaking field in general. I mean, if you look at TED Talks, I think 15 or 20% are done by women. So we're represented in every industry and in the speaking realm.
Right, and actually, I have a speaker coming in this year with our group, and she started TEDx NASA, and she coaches TEDx speakers on short talks because there's a whole different format on that. And I love, her name is Haley Foster. I love working with that sort of format because it's you need coaching through that and the confidence to be able to do that as well. So.
Well, right now at your goalsforlife.com, I noticed that you have an online summit that's going on right now.
I do.
Which is your interviews with some really top-notch women. Yes. I looked at it. I was enjoying it. I know people would enjoy going to it, and it's free.
It's free. It's free.
And then after your online summit, you also have coming up in June in Pasadena your live event. Called Hero Mountain. So tell me about that. And this is for really women at halftime.
It's for women at halftime, and I do 2 a year. It's for a small group of women, small select group of women, and please contact me right away because it's a small group. But June 1st and 2nd, and there is something about live interaction. You can learn. I have online programs. I love video work. I love all that. But that online only takes you so far.
Right.
So when you have that interaction, it's non-intimidating, it's fun, it's for that personal work. And if you don't stop and take that time, another year will go by, another 2 years ago, another 5 years, and you go, oh. So this is an opportunity to take time for yourself, and I've priced it very, very reasonable.
Right. I
so
saw
that is, it's very, very reasonable for something like this. And I even have it formatted for CE credits, but it's what
are CE credits?
Those are your continuing education credits.
Right.
Many HR people have to have those, and so
okay.
and so each hour is formatted like that, so they can walk away with 6 credits.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah. It's a win-win that
big
way.
plus.
Yeah, it's a double dip. I say
double dip. Yeah. So who would attend Hero Mountain? Someone that might be going through midlife saying, I don't know what's next, or I'd like to be a speaker, or who would it be for? Who's the ideal attendee?
Many women, because this is for women,
Yes.
the weekend is. Many women at halftime, all of a sudden, they find that if they have children, their children don't need them as much. Big change.
Empty nest.
Empty nest, big change. Then they have other changes. Many times their job changes. So their position changes, and then they've, okay,
And
so
let's
where
face
am I?
it, in midlife, we hate to say this, but once you're 50, 60, it's tough to get a job.
It's
So you have to kind of
different.
reinvent yourself and create your own job.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And you
Which
have
is
so
actually
many
an exciting
skills.
thing. It sounds
is.
like a scary thing.
No.
What I think is scary is trying to do it on your own. And that's why I appreciate you doing this program, because you know, there's nothing like in-person support of a great group of people and experts to support your endeavor.
Right.
I don't think anybody should try to go it alone.
It's very difficult to go it alone. I hire coaches. It's very, very difficult.
I think
to
we
go.
all do.
Yeah. It's extremely difficult. I started teaching at the age of 13. I taught adults at the age of 13. And I have a very big passion for people actually learning and growing. You know, I don't just do things just to do things.
Right.
And so it really comes from that heart of wanting people to grow, wanting people to learn and have that confidence to move forward.
Yeah, that's where we speak the same language. With 360 Karma, it's all about how do I help empower women to live their highest self by putting them in touch with people that they relate to, or resources they need, or funding they need, whatever the case may be. We try to make it an environment with the show and our events to inspire women and have the resources right at their fingertips, no matter what it is they want to be doing. So if they want to become a speaker, just knowing like about your platform and how they can make that happen, and how they can make it a profitable business.
Exactly. And they can contact me anytime through the website. I answer my emails. I get a lot of email, but I answer my emails, and please, if there's any questions about that. So,
And now, on top of all this, besides writing your musicals, up for your Grammys, being a successful coach and putting on these events, you're also an author.
I am.
Do you sleep?
No, I do.
Once in a while.
I do.
No, you not have one book, not two books, 3 books.
I have 3 presently, and I'm working on my 4th.
Oh my! Of course you are.
That's the women in halftime.
In your spare time.
In my spare time. I hire a great editor. It's very, very important. You can writing songs is the same way.
Yeah.
You think you've just written the most brilliant, oh my gosh, this is so great. Then you have someone else read it and go, what are you trying to say?
Yeah, because sometimes we're too close to it.
We're so close to it, close to it. So having the people around you, and I really learned this from writing musicals, talk about difficult. And this is a term, oh, no one's going to like this, but they call this in musical theater workshops. They say, you know, sometimes you have to be willing to kill your babies.
Yeah.
What?
Oh my God!
I've
I
had
hate
babies.
that saying.
That's awful.
Yeah.
But you understand that you've got to be willing to cut a
Let it
song.
go.
You've got I like Let It Go better actually.
Yeah.
But that's what they call it.
Yeah.
And I mean, I remember going through the middle of a very large musical called Tsarina. It's all about the Russian Revolution. I loved the story of Nicholas and Alexandra, so I wrote a musical about it. And I remember one of the directors saying, you know, this is just too long. Can we cut this page? It's like, what? What?
Yeah.
You know, so in writing books, it's that same sort of process. Writing is not just writing, it's rewriting, and it's a number of times.
Yes.
So
every time you think it's done, it's another rewrite.
it's another rewrite, and you have to be willing to do that. My main purpose is to help people, and I want them to walk away thinking, oh, that really, really helped me.
You know, it's funny though, the metaphor is it's really life. You know, we write the story we think we want to unfold, but the universe doesn't always have the same idea.
No.
And we have to let things go and
Right.
realize, oh, the universe has a better idea than I had for myself. Or,
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Don't you think we're always rewriting the story, and it's not always the ending or the chapter we thought it was going to be.
Right.
But usually it ends up being for the best.
Right,
Yeah.
right. I always say, you know, God always has a little different path, but it ended up so much better. How come I
Yeah.
never thought about it that way?
Yeah.
The creative path, but we can't always plan that.
Exactly. And that's why they always say you just have to know like what it is you want to manifest, but you don't have to know the hows, because we get all caught up in the hows, and it doesn't always happen the way we think it will, right?
Right,
So
right.
if we eliminate the hows, it makes life so much easier.
But where you say what you said was very important.
Yeah.
Very, very important is that you have to have at least a goal or know where you're going.
You have to have that clarity, don't
If you don't
Yeah.
have any, you'll aim at what it was at Yogi Berra. If you aim for nothing, you'll get nothing. I mean,
Yeah.
you have to have
Yes.
some, and that can change slightly. But
Yes,
you have to have
absolutely.
some sort of space where you're going
Yeah.
toward something.
And don't you think the downtime to even visualize that? Sometimes we're so busy and so wrapped up in whatever,
Right.
social media or events or friends or whatever. But taking that quiet time to allow those creative ideas to download.
Yeah.
I know as a musician, you must have had to create that to write these musicals or write your books.
Right. Right. You do.
Back to your books. Your latest one was the Stuck is Not a Four-Letter Word.
That was my first one was Stuck is Not a Four-Letter Word.
Oh, that's your first one.
And I wrote that because I was stuck.
Okay.
Yeah, the music industry had pretty much fallen apart.
Right.
Where I was doing the shows,
Yeah.
it's 2008, 2009. Oh boy, so many people can identify with
Oh,
that.
everybody identifies with that. Everybody has at some point in their life felt stuck.
Yes.
You know what I say stuck is? I think it's an in-between where you're shifting to something new and great,
Yeah.
and it's a downtime. And people don't embrace the downtime.
Yes.
Sometimes
It's a great
you're
point.
going from here to there, and it's a downtime to just let it germinate, let it grow in your mind, allow yourself to think and create. You don't have to always be in the doing.
Right. That is a really good point.
Yeah.
And you have to realize where you're at.
Yeah.
Take that breath. And what I did was, first of all, I discovered this is why I even went into the area of speaking, because I do a lot of speaking in shows too.
Right.
So it was very natural. I've been on a platform forever, it feels like, and on a stage. But I was noticing at some of the corporate events that they were cutting some of the headline entertainment, but they weren't cutting the speakers.
Oh, interesting.
Oh, I wonder what this speaking stuff is all
Yeah.
about. And I had an agent. I went to visit her she was in Phoenix area. So my husband and I, actually, we both went out and visited her. And I said, tell me about this speaking stuff.
Yeah.
What is it all about? And so I started looking at a lot of the bios and the people that were doing it. I thought, I could do that.
Right.
So that's when that first book started happening, because I thought, well, I probably should write some sort of a book about what I'm going
Yeah,
through.
if you're going to be a speaker, you should have a book. Look, one little interesting caveat, these major agencies that represent actors and actresses out here now has a new division for speakers.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
I just met someone who does that, and I'm like, oh, wow. So they're even noticing it as a big
Right.
new genre for actors or people
Right.
that are entertainers.
Well,
Yeah.
especially entertainers. And you notice this in booking shows, that they want to put the name acts in first because they'll fill the seats. They're
Right.
looking to fill seats.
Right.
So when you have a name come in and they say, well, they'll come in speaking or something, that will start filling their season, and then they put other people in.
Right.
So,
yeah.
yeah, that works.
And so most people wouldn't know how to, book their gigs and that type of thing. And that's the type of thing you help them with.
We help them with a lot of
Everything.
that in our speaking organization, definitely.
Right. And what about in your
networking.
business or your workshops?
Yes, that's also networking is a big part of this.
Yeah.
Because I've continually worked in my field, very, very difficult field.
Yeah.
But a lot of it's from referrals.
Right.
And you get referred. I put stuff out there all the time as well.
Yeah.
So you learn how to do that. You make your own plan. Everybody's different.
Right.
There's no cookie cutter.
Right.
There's no cookie cutter.
So when people come to Hero Mountain and come to your workshops,
yes.
do you help them become speakers in different industries? Is that the goal?
Well, if they come to our National Speakers Association, I help them become speakers.
Okay.
That's where I'm president of that organization.
Right.
With my weekend that includes Hero Mountain. I have a lot going, sorry
Yeah.
about that. But the June 1st and 2nd, I help them create their own plan. It may be if they...
It could be anything from speaking to starting a business
and
or
usually
whatever.
starting a business. I don't just target speakers because I don't want to... there may be a speaker that wants to come.
Right.
But I don't want a conflict of interest there as the president of an organization. That's
Right.
what this organization will help you with.
I see.
So
if people want to become a speaker, they should go become part of
the net, and I can give them the
Speakers
information.
Association.
Yes, the
What's that
national-
website?
Okay, so our GLAC, it's nsaglac.org. That's the one there.
And
I hope
what's
I remember
what's
that.
it called? The National
But it's the
Association?
National Speakers Association, NSA, just like the spy group.
Okay. in LA.
But well, we
Los
have an
Angeles?
LA chapter. There's chapters all over the country
Right.
and internationally. It's an
wonderful.
organization that's been going for long,
And anyone
long
can
time.
join.
Anyone can join,
would
can be a part. Now, you have to be at a certain level to be a professional member.
Right.
So, which there are those in leadership. We are all professional members. Which this is what we do as our business.
Right.
So there's levels their way, but you can definitely join the chapters and be a part. Our group meets the second Saturday of every month. So
Right.
and it's a great organization. I really believe in it.
Or
So.
they can go to Goals for Your
Goals
Life.
for Your Life and email me. You
Right.
can ask. And I have a lot
No
of
matter what
information.
profession they want to be starting,
No matter
you
what.
can help coach them
Right.
to get the right information and resources to
Right.
make it come to fruition.
Right.
Nothing like having someone in your court. And I always say there's a coach for everyone. Find the
Right.
one that you identify with, that you guys have a kismet. Everybody
Right.
has to find their people, right?
Very important. It's important for both sides.
For
I'm
both
I'm not
sides.
going to waste anybody's time or money. Period.
Right.
And I don't want them wasting mine either.
Right. Right.
So
no, everybody
yeah.
has to find their people,
Right.
and different people have different soul values, and you have
Right.
to get people that align with yours.
Right.
We all have different ones, and I think that's important.
Right.
Well, thank you for the work you're doing, and
you were
because you're
delightful.
certainly not doing enough. Will you do a little more, Deborah?
I love what I do. I really love. I
that
love.
shows.
Yeah, I just and I love the arts. I will. I'm continually writing and playing and still doing music and.
I love
but
that.
But I love bringing the message and really encouraging people. Always encouraging people in their own journey.
Well,
It's
you're
wonderful.
certainly an inspiration.
Thank
So,
you.
thank you for being here today.
Thank you. The time went by so fast.
It did.
Oh my goodness.
And we'll be back next week with another amazing guest. Be sure to check out Deborah at goalsforyourlife.com and check us out at 360 Karma. We believe in helping you create your fate. Make it a great day. Hugs and happiness.